Well, hello. Now, I'm on a different lens, so I feel like I'm very super zoomed in. I might go back a bit. Is that a bit better? I'm also on the mic, so I'm hoping the sound will be a bit clearer. Double jobbing again. I'm prepping for a slot on Wednesday for the telly, and I'm going to be talking about late summer autumn plants, which I'm going to show today to you. So if you have any gaps in your borders, or if you want to make an autumn, early autumn container to add like a bit of colour, I have some from the garden centre. Now some of these I actually bought for myself because this front bed here I want to do. So I have cut flowers in all of the other ones. This one, there is some plants that I really want to grow as cut flowers. This is a lovely sunny spot, and I did try and grow some in the front like the Echinacea, and in the front, because the shade, there's a bit more shade versus the sun, they didn't grow as well. So I'm going to give them what they want, which is a nice sunny spot with well drained soil. So I'll talk you through the bits that I have. And yeah, I'm just prepping and writing down my notes. I got a few chrysanthemums. I didn't get too many because some of them are perennial and they will come back. They hate frost, so a lot of people will take them into a greenhouse or even indoors to keep them flowering like into early winter. If you keep deadheading them, they're great actually as cut flowers. Keep deadheading them and they'll keep going. I do have one that came back from last year, and it's actually grown quite tall. It's in a pot over there. And the other one that I had in a pot last year, DED, RIP. I think I remember the frost that killed it. I wasn't quick enough putting it into the greenhouse, but I'm going to try and keep these ones again for next year. Some of them can be annuals, obviously depending on your growing zone. But yeah, I'm going to try and keep them going until they stop flowering, and then I'll store them in the greenhouse just like the dahlias that are in pot, and try and keep them for next year. Anyway, you can see behind me my wheelbarrow is looking lovely. Also, it's not potted up or anything. I do just put them in the wheelbarrow just to play around, have a little look at how they're looking together. They look very pretty. But yeah, it looks like it's potted up. So if you see a pretty picture of me posting this wheelbarrow with the flowers online, it's not actually potted up. They're still in their pots. They're just sitting there. It's all an illusion. Okay, let's get into it. So I got 3. I actually got everything in groups of 3. I'm going to be doing one container, and I'll probably put like maybe 3 plants in it, maybe 4. I'll see what it's looking like. We can dress it now together. But I got some mums, got all chrysanthemums. Some of them might need a little deadhead already. These are great as cut flowers. These are what you see with the door decor. So when you see lovely big porches, oh Lord, I would love a porch with autumn displays that you'll see all over the Pinterest and the Instagram. Chrysanthemums are great in a pot. And you know what? I think you can put them obviously in your borders, you can put them in the middle. Some of them will grow quite tall and they might need to be staked up, but I think they're great in a pot, especially if you get like a last minute cold snap in the evening. You can just whip up the pot and pop it in wherever you have some shelter. That one there is the chrysanthemum from last year. So it's not flowered yet, but there's loads of new foliage on it. So yeah, I can't remember what colour it is. I think it's a nice earthy colour like this one. Next up, Echinacea. I have tried to grow this in 2 locations in the garden, but I've realised that they love sun, which is why I'm going to do a clump in here. So this is going to be a late summer, early autumn cut flower bed where I'm going to do some echinaceas. I have 3 colours. So I have this white one here. I just love how strong the middle is. This will make for a really nice like letting it dry over winter. I then have this pink one, and I also got a yellow one for a bit of colour. So the yellow one is lemon yellow, simple to remember. Let's get a name on this guy. One says purpurea, purpurea mix. And then I think the white one might be the same. Yeah, it says purpurea mixed, but this is white and that one is pink. So I have 3 of those. Again, you could put these in a container or grow them in a border. Next up, I'll go with these guys. I think these are, so I've got Heliopsis, Helenium, and there's another H, that's a sunflower, but it's not, hang on, I think these are Heliopsis. So, no, these are Helenium. These are Heliopsis. These are Helenium. So Helenium, also known as sneezeweed. So I think these will flower from like midsummer till the end of September. I'm sure if you deadhead them, you could get a bit longer out of them. They look lovely if you're doing like a prairie style, or kind of cottagey, whimsical with grasses, lots of daisies. Actually, all of these just look lovely together. So yeah, I have 3 of these, but they're the same variety. And I think the variety is Strawberry Sunday. Strawberry Sunday. So Helenium, sneezeweed, Strawberry Sunday. And it has like a lovely, I just love the heads on them. And I think they'll look nice as they dry out. But I think they'll also look nice in a cut flower, an autumnal cut flower bouquet. And they actually smell, I don't know if it's the Echinacea I'm smelling, but someone is smelling good. So for a bit of height, I have Heliopsis, Funky Spinner, False Sunflower. And it's called a false sunflower because it looks like sunflowers, but apparently, so these are perennial sunflowers. Most sunflowers are annuals, like the ones you would have seen over here. So they just have one flowering season and then you collect the seed for next year. So these guys will come back. They grow nice and tall, and I think the reason why, what makes them different to sunflowers is, so sunflowers just have seeds in the centre, and these, their seed is in the centre, but I think I googled it, they also have something on the side, not sure, you'll have to go and fact check me, but I'll show you on a sunflower. Here's a poor little chap here actually. The centre is just where the seeds come from, and I think on the other ones there was also something at the side that could be pollinated, I'm not too sure, but yeah, most sunflowers are annual. And definitely next year I want to grow more sunflowers in different colours, so sunflowers in like these lovely colours here. So yeah, that's my, I need to make a mental note to get more sunflower seeds in springtime. Now when you think of autumn or late summer, Rudbeckia. Now my shop Rudbeckia, so this is only from the garden centre yesterday. It's my Rudbeckia in my garden is looking nicer for once. Normally what's in the garden centre does look nicer. But I have 3 different varieties. I think one of them is American, that's American Gold Rush. So it has smaller petals on it, American Gold Rush. This one, Gold Star. Rudbeckia, Little Gold Star, there's a common name for them, and it's black-eyed Susans, and they're also known as coneflowers, and I think Echinaceas are also known as coneflowers as well. They may be from the same family, I'm not sure, you'll have to do a little plant Google on that. And then here's another one here, so this one here, what is this one called? Goldstrum. This is the one that I have out the front in a big clump, and it is looking amazing and it's looking nice and tall. So when they get big, sometimes you have to stake them. Just something I've noticed with Rudbeckia, because I have had some that they've stopped flowering, and it's because I think after year 5 they can die off. So you propagate them, collect the seed, do another batch of them. But yeah, the one I have out the front would be way more than year 5. I'd say it's a good 9-10 years old, and I'm just getting foliage now on it. So I'm hoping a clump of these will give me back the Rudbeckias, and I think they're going to be great for, again, cut flower bouquets for this time of year. And they just look nice. Every time I see them I'm like, oh, change of the season is coming. Then I wanted to bring a heuchera as an example because heucheras are generally evergreen. I think one or two of mine in winter the leaves might die off and then there's new growth, but generally they're evergreen and most people will keep them for their foliage. So this one does have flowers on it, but I find mine, they absolutely love the shade. They will tolerate a bit of sun, but I just love the colours of them. I have a couple of them out the front, but I've one over here, this one, and I just love it. So this is the shady border, and as you can see, it is thriving. There is actually some seed heads on it from when it flowered. And I also have, there's another green one up here, and I noticed I never cut them back. I probably should have, but my favourite plant, Brunnera Jack Frost, it flowered again. There's a couple of little flowers on it, so I was delighted with that. So yeah, absolutely love heuchera, and I wanted to bring it as an example because you can get them in lovely colours, and they're great in a container as your filler. I do also have some verbena, perennial. I need to work on that pronunciation before Wednesday. Hang on, that says verbena lollipop. This is accidentally a smaller version than the big one. So I have some of the larger verbena over here in this border. Some of it has actually self-seeded, which is great. But I didn't cut it back the whole way. So see the way it's gone very leggy? I should have cut it the whole way back, because what happened was I only cut it to a third and it's bushing out from that point, whereas I think if I cut it back from the ground I would have got more stronger stems, if that makes sense. So verbena, I absolutely love it for adding height, and you will get loads of butterflies on it. I got a lovely shot during the week of some butterflies on it, so this is one of my faves, and it'll flower again until October. I find it'll not die back, but will stop flowering, and then you'll get another flush on it. So yeah, one of my faves. So then I also want to bring, I didn't buy a dahlia in the shop because I have loads of them over there, but in a pot I have one dahlia there and I have loads here, but I need to pick one to bring with me. Oh, there's a big spider. I need to pick one to bring with me that is going to look nice for the telly. That has a lovely head on it. Does it have any other about to open? So yeah, I'm going to bring one of these with me because I want to show it as an example. I haven't seen actually many dahlias in the garden centres this year. Maybe it's just the ones I was going to, but I was like, are they not in fashion anymore? But I think I'm also going to bring, see that pot over there of Osteospermum? Now I know Osteospermum, it's an annual, but I think I'm going to bring it just to dress up my table and make it look pretty. But how nice are these? They had a little off season for a couple, about 3 or 4 weeks, because I deadheaded all of the old flowers back, and now it's after having a lovely second flush. So I think I might just give it a little deadhead. But yeah, I think I'll bring that with me as well because it's looking quite nice. And then this big container here, all that water hyssop spilling out the edge. This was the spring container we planted, and yeah, it is lovely, full, overgrown. These wildflowers are in this bucket here, and they have just started to flower, which I didn't think they would because I was very late planting them. But yeah, this bucket dahlia is doing well. I just keep deadheading it and it just keeps going. So yeah, happy with that. Probably wondering, why have you got a jumper on today? Oh, do you know what? It's just been, I'm not going to give out about the weather because everyone, it's just one extreme to the other. If it's not lashing rain here, people are getting heat waves and forest fires, and it's just like we're all having our extremes. But it's actually gone a bit on the cooler side. And all the kids are back to school this week, and in Ireland we always say, oh, when the kids go back, that's when the good sun comes. It's like when the leaving cert is happening, it gets sunny. And then that was the case this year. Kind of holding out for an Indian summer, but no sign of it yet. hence why I have the jumper on. So I'm going to grab a container and I'm going to mock plant it up. But yeah, if you are trying to keep the garden going up until, there's still loads of gardening time. Well, there is if you're a similar growing zone to me. September, October, great months in the garden. Obviously with the evenings starting to get darker and creeping, things will slow down in growth. But keep deadheading, plant up a container, stick it somewhere, cut back the likes of hardy geraniums that have the leaves have gone and the flowers have gone, kind of cut them back a bit as well. You might get another flush. But yeah, just keep on deadheading. I actually got a new deadhead snips. I think it fell out in my car. It's here somewhere. I literally threw that together, but I think it's a good example of a nice autumn container. And also, just for anyone who's new, the reason why I didn't plant it up, there actually is soil at the bottom. You can see there I have just some compost mixed with some vermiculite for drainage. So yeah, I just sit them in it because it's vegetarian and it's just pretend. And also, these are my plants. It's not telly plants. So I want to use like this pink Echinacea in the coneflower bed that I'll do after Wednesday when they come back. I do think I may make a container and put it in the front. I think it would be nice and pretty to look at. And then also just to bear in mind that when you put perennials in with each other, they're obviously not going to grow as big as if they're in a border, but still, don't be afraid of popping them in a container. And what you can do is maybe in winter time, or you can leave this to go to seed. They have pretty seed heads in winter. Then in springtime, you can dismantle this. Plant your heuchera in a border, plant the Rebecca, plant out the Echinacea, the Heliopsis, whatever it is you have in your container, and then reuse this for something else. Or you could give it another season, and also just remember when it's in a pot to feed it. So the pots need more feed, so give it a weekly feed as well. Or sometimes I forget, but the one over there seems to have thrived on my neglect. But feed your pots, and they will look after you. I actually did see in the garden centre they were selling pots like this for crazy money, like 80-90 euro crazy money. So if you have a cheap little pot, give it some drainage holes and then you can add in the rest. So I think if you were to buy all of these plants, you're probably looking at maybe anywhere from like 8-9 euro to 15 euro. I think for the Echinacea, the rest of them were like around about the 8-9 euro mark, and they're perennial and they're going to come back. So instead of spending like 90 quid on a container that I saw in the garden centre, make one and save yourself about 40-50 quid, or grow them from seed and you'll even save even more. bit of sticks I managed to get off the tree. It looked like loads when I was pulling it down, but once you take off on any of the leaves, this is what I'm left with. So I went for nice stiff ones. I know they'll dry out, and I was thinking as well, that tree I think was originally a shrub, and it's a bit of a thug, but I love it for the birds. And I was like, I bet you if I stick this in the ground as a support, the thing will root. Like unintentionally. So yeah, these I'm going to see if I can use them as supports for the verbena, because I've used up all of my bamboo cane. So yeah, I thought this was a little bit innovative. Now this one, see, this one has dried a bit harder. This was like a dead piece, so that one is a bit more sturdier than this one. This was like softwood, but don't you use softwood cuttings to take cuttings? I have a feeling I'll stick this in the ground and it'll root. But listen, if it does, we'll just take it out, pot it up, give it to someone, put it somewhere else. So I just popped in some agastache. So it grows nice and tall. So you've got the purple of the verbena in the back. You normally don't have to stake up verbena. I think with all of the wind and my bad pruning is why mine is a bit on the flop, and all the heavy rain. But I put in 3 agastache here. I'm gonna just water them in because I had a gap and I wanted some height, and there's a bit of a purple theme going on here and pinks, and during the spring there's purple alliums, there is white daffodils as well. Obviously this will be coming after the daffodils, and there's loads of aquilegia with lovely pinks and purples. So this is kind of unintentionally, obviously the magnolia as well has lovely white pinky flowers. So yeah, I just popped it in because I had a gap, and that prayer agastache has been sitting in a pot for weeks and I thought it deserved a home. Okay, I've come in to charge my camera and I'm consulting the Gospel according to Monty Don, because I was reading your YouTube comments on last week's Sunday's video about astilbes, and some people, it was kind of conflicting, but one thing I noticed from people saying that they had a good year this year with them, obviously people who are in my growing region, so like Ireland, the UK, we've had a lot of rain this summer, and people were saying that their astilbes thrived. And in this book, I just searched the at the back appendix, and perennials for moist conditions. So this is Monty Don, the Complete Gardener. I think this book came out last year. So I've just had a little look. So large perennials for moist conditions is Astilbe rivularis. That's not the one I have. I have Astilbe young, unique mix or something, begins with a Y. And then medium-sized perennials for moist conditions. And then there is a stilby, small perennials for moist conditions. So I think a lot of people in the comments were saying that actually their stilby could take a little bit of sun. So I think where I have it is too dry, which brings me back to my drawing board, because where I want to put it I also think is too dry. Now where I'm after putting the what's the name? I literally just said it 2 minutes ago. That purple flower I'm after putting in the thing, that soil is more moist, and I probably should have put my astilbes in there. However, it gets more sun. So I think either I need to plant the astilbes out there and make sure I water them really well while the roots are settling in. But because what I was saying last week is that area is now shaded with trees, so less water might be getting in. So I could have an issue with maybe I should have put, there is perennials on the next page for dry soil. So perennials for dry, perennials for shade. I think I need to stop assuming I know what it's like in that border. Sorry, there is an airplane flying overhead, but I think because I have a mic, it's okay. Another great thing people said was just dig a hole and put it in, but leave it in the pot so you can just lift it up. That is good, but you can't leave them forever in their little plastic pot, because obviously the roots will be bursting out of it. But you can definitely get away with it for a good couple of weeks. So you can see. So I think the problem with astilbes that I've been having isn't so much the lighting. I think it's my lack of watering them. So I was going to plant them and dig them out there, but I think I need to do some more reading. I do have some other garden books. So, and obviously Google. The problem with Google is you get conflicting information. Like I always say, if you want to prove a point on Google, you're gonna, what is it I'm trying to say? If you want to say the sky is not blue, let's say, if you seek, you get tunnel vision and you'll find that information. So if I assume astilbes like shade, I'm going to keep looking for that information, if that makes sense. I don't know if what I'm trying to say makes sense. But basically what you want to know your biases, is it? I don't know. Anyway, you'll find the information you want. It's like when people have arguments on Facebook comments. Yeah, but I Googled it, and it's like, yeah, random little rant I had there. So, yes, I think I have issues with water. Ocosmia Lucifer, planted one of them in spring, managed to kill it. Everyone told me it was going to be invasive. Challenge accepted. The thing is orange. Again, I think it was a watering issue because of the trees that are growing over. I need to reconsider positioning. So lesson learned. This is a lovely little book. I haven't read the whole thing. To be honest, I kind of just flick through it when I need to know something or if I need to check, but the photography is just beautiful. I wish I had more time to read. I feel like I have the attention span of a goldfish. I do. Oh, there's a bookmark. Who remembers when I made these for my book launch? And €5 off when you spend 50 in IKEA. Oh, September 2022. It's expired. You never know what you find in books. Anyway, Monty Don, The Complete Gardener, highly recommend it. Nice, huge, juicy book. And I think I only paid, like on the back says £27, $30, 39 Canadian. But I actually think I got it for like €22 or something. I got it from Bookstation. I know I didn't, like I got it, I think on offer. So anyway, I have to rethink my astilbes, but thank you so much for everyone who took the time to write out and share information and their wins with them. Yeah, I want to be a successful astilbe grower. I might just do a giant container with them. because then I can move it around and I can put soil in it that they'll like instead of putting it into a border. Any excuse to buy another pot. My last job in this week's video is, you notice us, I have to try and get all of the plants into my car. So I do have some handy buckets that I put the plants in and then I can sit them in my car. Kind of need a van now at this stage, but these are handy because I can put a tiny bit of water at the bottom of these tubs and they don't leak, touch wood, yet, so I can keep them hydrated on their spin across the motorway to the TV studio and then their spin back. And as usual, my car, and yeah, like I said, I need a van, but I reckon I can get a lot of plants in for a Volkswagen Beetle. Another thing I also have to do is I use some like display pots just to make them look prettier on the telly, and I do have to brush the spiders out of them. So if you ever wondered if there is any glamour when it comes to television, there is zero glamour. I am literally brushing spiders out of pots before I pop them into my car before they go on the telly. And yes, some spiders do make it into the car and onto the telly too. Yeah, I can smell the sweet peas beside me. They smell amazing. Keep deadheading them and you'll get some sweet peas for hopefully another month. My next job is I have to go in now and I have to do my roots. Oh Lord, I'm really 95. Yeah, I just have to do my roots for the owl telly. I also need to take up a pair of dungarees because the leg is too long and I have to write down my notes. I really wanted this week to actually do the vertical wall, but the vertical wall, my week is running away with myself and I'm not going to get a chance to do it. So maybe next week's video, I'm having one of them weeks where everyone is just looking for me non-works or non-YouTube fun stuff, other work that pays the bills. So I didn't get a chance to do the vertical wall this week, but I was showing in last week's video that I had rain gutters that I wanted to do a strawberry wall. But actually I was on last week, I was on the Claiborne show with Mary. I'll put her name on the screen. Beautiful garden. She's like a proper horticulturist. And we were chatting about balcony gardens. I'd say you'd be able to get it on repeat. It was Claiborne show and it was last Thursday. But I think if you just type my name into the RT Radio 1 thing, it might pop up previous episodes. I'm not sure how long they last, but anyway, she was saying like you could put, because the rain gutters are quite shallow, you could put like annuals in them. You could do succulents if it's on like a sunny wall. Now I know some alpines and succulents are not frost hardy, so you might have to take them in winter. But yeah, I was getting some ideas. And also, to know the way my regular viewers will know, I absolutely poop myself still whenever I have to do any, like, I'm not as bad as I used to, but I'm still pretty bad with the nerves when I have to do live telly and radio. But I do it for the practice, the experience. It is fun. If you can get a handle on your nerves, it is fun to do. But I was chatting to Mary because she is like a proper horticulturist, lots of knowledge. Sorry, I'm keeping my voice down because I think there's like people behind me in their garden, so I'm trying not to disturb them. But yeah, she's a proper horticulturist, full of the knowledge, like actual plant knowledge. She could probably speak the plant Latin. And yeah, we were on talking about balcony gardens, so I was giving my kind of DIY tips. But afterwards I was chatting to Mary and I was like, do you still get nervous? And because she would do a lot of, like, she would be on the show quite regularly and things like that, and she was like, yeah. And I was like, I like to hear it. And she was saying that sometimes, you know, if you don't get nervous, you might get, not that you might get, but you can be like too cocky or too, like, I don't know, you can, I don't know the word, but basically, yeah, you can kind of get like too cocky. So it kind of shows you care when you get a bit of nerves and you put the prep in and you want to do well, basically. So not to kind of basically beat yourself up over nerves. Hopefully next week we'll put up the strawberry wall. Itching to do a strawberry wall, but I have to take care of my responsibilities. and pay the bills. And then we can do the strawberry wall. I will see you in Thursday's video.